The scent of lye and tallow soap clings to my skin, a chemical shroud meant to scour away my own essence. It is the scent of obedience, of invisibility. I keep my head bowed as I scrub the great hall's flagstones, the coarse bristles of the brush biting into my already raw knuckles. Here, in the heart of the Alpha King's palace, to be noticed is to be endangered. My world is one of stone floors, cast-off rags, and the perpetual chill that seeps into your bones when you sleep on a straw pallet in a servant's dormitory. It is a small life, a gray life, but it is a life. My secret is a brand of shame I wear beneath the threadbare wool of my tunic, a swirl of silver on my hip, a mark that appeared on my 16th birthday, shaped like a sliver of a crescent moon. The elders in my home village, before I was sent here as part of the annual tithe, had whispered words like cursed and unnatural. No one in our pack had ever seen a mark like it. They said I was wolfless, that the moon goddess had found me wanting and left me incomplete, marked as an outcast. So I hide it, I scrub it, I cover it, I pretend it does not burn with the cold fire against my skin. Today, the palace hums with a tension that has nothing to do with me. King Kalen returns. The alpha of alphas, the ruler of all 7 packs, is coming home from the border wars. The air is thick with the competing sense of nervous excitement from the court ladies and the sharp, metallic tang of the royal guard's ambition. For me, it means only more work. The floors must be cleaner, the fires brighter, the scent of roasting meat more succulent. His arrival changes everything for them. For me, it is just another stone to scrub. A horn blast, long and deep, echoes from the outer walls. He is here. A tremor of activity rushes through the palace like a tidal wave. I press myself into the shadows of a stone pillar, trying to become one with the grout and dust, hoping the wave will pass over me. Servants are not meant to be seen during state arrivals. We are the ghosts that make the machine run. But the scent hits me first. It cuts through the cloying perfumes and the savory smoke from the kitchens. It is a primal, staggering aroma of winter frost, ancient pine, and the clean, sharp ozone of a lightning strike. It is power. It is dominance. It is everything I am not. It floods my senses, dizzying and absolute. And for a reason I cannot comprehend, it feels like home. My head snaps up against my will, my eyes searching for the source. He stands in the grand archway, silhouetted by the afternoon sun. Alpha King Kalen. He is taller than the tapestries depict, broader. His presence is a physical weight in the room, pressing down on everyone, demanding submission. His gaze sweeps across the bowing courtiers, dismissive and impatient. His wolf, the great beast that lives within him, is on the hunt. I can feel it, a predator's focus that has nothing to do with the fawning nobles. Then his eyes, the color of molten gold, lock onto mine. The world falls away. The noise of the court, the clatter of armor, the frantic whispers, it all vanishes. There is only the thunder of my own heart and the force of his stare. It is not a casual glance. It is a spear pinning me to the stone. I see his nostrils flare, even from across the hall. He has caught my scent. Not the lye soap and the grime, but the scent beneath it all. The one I thought I had erased. The scent of rain-soaked earth, night-blooming jasmine, and something else, something uniquely my own. My wolf, a creature I have never known, a ghost in my own soul, stirs for the first time. Mate. The word is not a thought but a feeling a certainty that blooms in the barren wasteland of my chest. It is a shock of pure, undiluted joy that is so foreign it is almost painful. Hope, a dangerous and unfamiliar guest, unfurls its fragile wings within me. Could it be? Me, the wolfless Omega, the cursed servant, the mate to the Alpha King? He takes a step toward me. The court holds its collective breath, sensing the shift in the air. The scent of him intensifies, a possessive, claiming aroma that makes my knees weak. He is a king, a god in this hall, and he is walking toward me. Another step. My breath catches in my throat. His golden eyes are locked on mine, and in their depths, I see a reflection of my own shock, my own dawning wonder. His beast is in control, pulling him across the floor, drawn by a bond forged by the goddess herself. But then something changes. A flicker of, what? A muscle in his jaw tightens. He is halfway across the hall when his gaze drops from my eyes to my clothes, the threadbare tunic, the dirt smudges on my cheek, the bucket of filthy water at my feet. I see the exact moment the Alpha's beastly instinct collides with the king's human pride. His eyes narrow. The wonder is gone, replaced by a cold, calculating assessment. The nobles are watching. His council is watching. His perfect, pedigreed beta is standing just behind him, her own scent a symphony of expensive oils and pure bloodlines. He stops, a mere 10 feet from me. The silence in the hall is absolute, a ringing void. I can feel hundreds of eyes on me, judging, dissecting. The hope in my chest withers, curling into a ball of ice. You, he says, and his voice is not the warm growl of a recognizing mate. It is the crack of a whip. It is cold, sharp, and utterly dismissive. What is this filth doing in the great hall? The words strike me with physical force. Filth. The ice in my chest shatters, sending splinters of pain through every part of my being. My hand flies instinctively to my hip, over the place where the moon mark burns with humiliation. His eyes track the movement, and a cruel sneer twists his perfect lips. An Omega, a wolfless, useless Omega. He takes a deep, deliberate breath, and then lets it out in a huff of disgust, as if trying to clear my scent from his lungs. You are nothing. You are a mistake. The goddess would never curse me with a mate so weak. Each word is a fresh nail in the coffin of that beautiful, impossible dream. The courtiers begin to murmur, the sound like the rustling of snakes. Some of them are laughing, a low, cruel sound that echoes the king's contempt. I am not a person anymore. I am a joke, a public spectacle. I, Alpha King Kalen of the Seven Packs, reject you, he declares, his voice booming through the hall, a formal proclamation for all to witness. I sever any bond the goddess may have mistakenly forged. You are not my mate. You are nothing to me. The bond, fragile and new, shrieks in agony. It feels like a living part of my soul is being torn from my body. A raw, guttural scream builds in my throat, but I choke it down, swallowing the sound along with the bile that rises. I will not give him the satisfaction of my tears. I will not let them see me break. I lock my knees, forcing my spine straight and meet his golden eyes. For a single, fleeting moment, I see a flicker of something in their depths, a flash of pain, of regret. His own wolf, fighting him. But it is gone as quickly as it came, buried under a mountain of pride. Mine, a voice whispers in my head, weak and dying. Ours, my own inner beast, mourning its own death before it ever had a chance to live. Get her out of my sight, Kalen commands, turning his back on me as if I am less than the dirt on his boots. Banish her. I do not want to see her face or smell her scent within the city walls again. Two guards seize my arms, their grips bruising. They do not have to drag me. My legs, somehow, still work. I walk with my head held high, my gaze fixed on the great doors. I do not look back. I carry the weight of 1,000 scornful eyes and one king's brutal rejection. They haul me through the corridors, past the kitchens where I once found scraps of kindness, past the laundry where I once shared weary jokes. No one meets my eyes. I am already a ghost. They throw me out of a small postern gate at the back of the palace. My meager belongings, a spare tunic and a half-eaten loaf of bread, tossed into the mud after me. The gate slams shut, the heavy thud of the iron bar echoing the final definitive slam of a door on my life. I stand there for a long moment, the cold rain beginning to fall, soaking my thin clothes. The scent of the city, of the palace, of him, is already fading, replaced by the smell of wet earth and my own despair. I am alone. I am exiled. I am nothing. The pain of the rejected bond is a physical agony, a hollow, aching void in my chest that throbs with every beat of my heart. It feels unsurvivable. But as I stand there, shivering in the rain, a different feeling begins to stir deep within me. Beneath the pain, beneath the humiliation, a tiny, hard kernel of anger begins to form. He called me weak. He called me nothing. He threw me away. I turn my back on the city and begin to walk. I do not know where I am going. I only know I am going away. The rain plasters my hair to my face, and the cold seeps into my bones. The ache in my chest is a constant gnawing presence. Every step is an effort. By nightfall, I have stumbled into the edge of the wolf-haunted woods that border the kingdom. I collapse at the base of an ancient oak, too exhausted to go on. The forest is alive with sounds: the snap of a twig, the hoot of an owl, the distant howl of a wild wolf. Fear should be consuming me. I am prey here, weak, alone, and scent-marked by despair. But the fear is a distant thing, muffled by the all-consuming pain of the rejection. The cold is the more immediate threat. It leaches the warmth from my limbs, my movements becoming sluggish, my thoughts slow and syrupy. This is it, I think, a strange sense of calm settling over me. This is where I die. I curl into a ball, trying to conserve what little warmth I have left. The pain in my chest is so vast, so empty, that death feels like a mercy. I close my eyes, ready to let go. But then something shifts. A flicker of warmth, faint at first, begins to glow against my hip. The moon mark. It is not the cold fire of shame I have always known. This is a gentle, persistent heat, like a sunbeam on a winter day. It spreads slowly, from my hip, down my leg, up my torso, a delicate web of warmth chasing the deadly chill from my veins. My shivering subsides. The fog in my mind begins to clear. Survive, a new voice whispers in my head. It is not the pleading, heartbroken voice of my dying wolf. This voice is older, calmer, and filled with a power I have never imagined. It is the voice of the moon, the voice of the mark itself. Survive. The choice is suddenly clear. I can lie here and let his rejection be the final word on my existence. I can let his cruelty define my end. Or I can live. I can live out of spite. I can live to prove him wrong. I can live because this strange new power insists on it. I force my eyes open. The anger I felt earlier returns. No longer a tiny kernel, but a growing flame, fed by the warmth of the mark. He does not get to decide if I live or die. He does not get to be the end of my story. I survived the scorn of my village, I survived the servitude of the palace. I will survive this. I push myself up, my muscles screaming in protest. I will survive him. 3 years later, the scent of lye soap is a distant, unpleasant memory. Now, I smell of pine needles, damp earth, and the clean, crisp air of the silverwood. I no longer bow my head. I no longer make myself small. Here, in the hidden valley of the moon callers, I have found a new home, a new name, and a new purpose. They do not call me Ilara, the cast-off servant. Here I am, Celine, High Huntress of the Silverwood Pack. The moon, mark I once hid as a brand of shame, is now my source of strength. The Moon Callers, a matriarchal pack that broke from the rigid, patriarchal rule of the Alpha Kings centuries ago, recognized it for what it was. Not a curse, but a blessing, a direct connection to the goddess. They taught me what my village never could. They taught me that I'm not wolfless. My wolf is simply different. She does not demand a physical transformation of fang and claw. She channels the power of the moon itself. My days are spent in the deep woods, training. I am faster, stronger, and more resilient than I ever thought possible. I can track a deer through a moonless night by the heat it leaves on the grass. I can soothe the temper of a territorial bear with a soft hum. I have learned to draw on the power of my mark, weaving lunar energy into shimmering threads of light that can heal a wound or form a barrier as strong as steel. I am not weak. I am not useless. I am powerful. My nights are spent in council with the pack's Alpha Lysander. He is nothing like Cullen. His power is a quiet, steady warmth, like the hearth of a well-kept home, not a raging, destructive wildfire. He has kind eyes, the color of moss and river stones, and he looks at me not as a symbol or a mistake, but as a person. He saw my potential when I stumbled into his territory, half-starved and broken-hearted. He offered me sanctuary, and then he offered me respect. The reports from the eastern border are troubling, he says tonight, his brow furrowed as we lean over a map carved into a large flat stone. The shadow creatures, the Draken, are pushing further west. 3 patrols have vanished in the last moon cycle. They are getting bolder, I agree, my finger tracing the edge of the blighted lands on the map. Their corruption is spreading. The very earth turns black and brittle where they pass. Kalen's packs are failing, Lysander says, his voice neutral, but I can hear the undercurrent of disdain. The Alpha King is a distant figure to them, a symbol of the old ways they abandoned. His warriors rely on brute strength and fury. It is useless against the Draken. They feed on fear and rage. My heart gives a small, traitorous pang at the mention of Kalen's name. For 3 years, I have worked to bury him, to erase the memory of his face and the agony of his rejection. Mostly, I have succeeded, but sometimes, in the dead of night, the phantom ache of the broken bond returns, a dull throb in the center of my soul. Mate, my wolf whispers, her voice now strong and clear, but tinged with a sorrow I can never quite escape. We have had success, I say, pushing the thought away and focusing on the map. Our methods are better. My lunar wards can hold them at bay, and the venom of the moon petal flower, when applied to our blades, seems to be the only thing that can dissolve their shadowy forms. It is not enough to defend our own borders, Lysander says, his hand covering mine on the stone table. His touch is warm, steady, and comforting. It is a safe touch. Celine, this threat is greater than any one pack. If the Draken consume the lowlands, they will eventually overwhelm us. The source of the corruption must be destroyed. And that source lies deep within the blighted lands. I finish, a sense of dread coiling in my stomach. A place no one has entered and returned from in a century. Kaelin will be forced to seek aid, Lysander predicts, his gaze intense. He will have to swallow his pride and ask for alliances from the independent packs he has so long ignored. When he does, I want him to find us strong. I want him to see what true power looks like. His thumb strokes the back of my hand. I want him to see you. There is more in his words than strategy. Lysander has made his intentions clear, in his own quiet, patient way. He wants me as his mate, his Luna, to rule the Silverwood beside him. It is a good offer, a safe offer. He is a good alpha, a good man. He would never humiliate me, never reject me. He would cherish me. My mind tells me it is the logical choice. It is the healing choice. But my heart and my stubborn, foolish wolf remain silent. They are still waiting for something, for a debt to be paid, a wound to be mended that Lysander, for all his kindness, cannot fix. I pull my hand away gently. We will be ready, I say, my voice cooler than I intend. Let the Alpha King come. He will find the Silverwood is not so easily broken. My name is Kaelin, and I am a king who rules a dying kingdom. For 3 years I have sat on my throne, a crown of gold on my head and a shroud of ash on my soul. My beast, the great wolf who was once my partner and my power, is now my tormentor. He paces the cage of my mind, a relentless, snarling fury. His rage is a constant headache, a fire behind my eyes that never cools. Fool, he growls, the word a constant refrain, arrogant, blind fool. You threw away our soul. You broke our bond. He is right. I see her face in every shadow. I smell her scent, rain-soaked earth and night-blooming jasmine on the phantom wind of my sleepless nights. Elara. Her name is a wound that will not heal. The moment I rejected her, I fractured my own spirit. The Alpha King's power is tied to his wolf, and my wolf wants nothing to do with me. He blames me. He punishes me. I have tried to move on. My counselors paraded every high-born female from every allied pack before me. They were beautiful, powerful, and their scents did nothing for me. They smelled of ambition, of perfume, of politics. None of them smelled like home. My wolf recoiled from them all, snarling with disgust. There is only one mate for us, and I, in my hubris, cast her out. The consequences of my folly are not just internal. My distraction has made me a weak king. My judgment is clouded, my temper short. The packs on the borders grow restless. And now, there is a new threat, a darkness slithering out of the blighted lands. The Draken, creatures of shadow and fear that my strongest warriors cannot defeat. They fall upon my patrols and leave nothing behind but desiccated husks and the stench of terror. My kingdom is crumbling at the edges, and I am powerless to stop it. Another village has fallen, my beta, Gareth reports, his face grim. He unrolls a map on the war table, his fingers stabbing at a spot perilously close to our central territories. The reports are the same. A creeping mist, screams, and then silence. We are losing, Kaelin. Because of you, my wolf snarls. You are weak. You sent away our strength. I slam my fist on the table, the wood groaning under the impact. What would you have me do, Gareth? We have sent our best. They do not return. Gareth hesitates, a rare thing for him. There are whispers, rumors from traveling merchants, of an independent pack in the Silverwood, the moon callers. They say these warriors have found a way to fight the Draken. They say they have turned back the shadow at their own border. The moon callers? I scoff, the name leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. A cult of moon-worshipping females who abandoned the pact centuries ago. They are a myth. They are not a myth, Gareth insists, his voice low. And they are our last hope. We have nothing to lose by asking for their aid. You must go, Caitlin. You must humble yourself and ask for an alliance. Humble myself. The words are like acid. I am the Alpha King. I do not beg. But as I look at the map, at the creeping stain of the Draken's advance, I know he is right. The survival of my people, of all our people, is more important than my pride. The pride that has already cost me everything that truly mattered. Make the arrangements, I command, my voice a hollow rasp. I will ride for the Silverwood at dawn. The journey is a torment. Every step my horse takes deeper into the ancient forest feels like a step further into my past. The air here is different, cleaner. It is thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, a scent that is achingly, terrifyingly familiar. My wolf, silent and sulking for weeks, begins to stir. A low, hopeful whine escapes him, a sound I have not heard in 3 years. She is near, he whispers, his voice trembling with anticipation. Our mate, she is here. It cannot be, I murmur to myself, my hands tightening on the reins. She is gone. I banished her. But the closer we get to the heart of the forest, the stronger her scent becomes. It is woven into the very fabric of this place. The rain-soaked earth, the night-blooming jasmine. But now there is something more. A new note of power, sharp and clear as moonlight on a frozen lake. It calls to my beast, a siren song of promised redemption. We are met at the edge of a hidden valley by a party of warriors. They are all female, clad in supple leather armor and armed with silver-tipped spears. They move with a silent, deadly grace that speaks of years of training. They do not bow. They do not show fear. They simply watch us, their eyes glowing faintly in the dim forest light. Their leader steps forward. She is tall and lean, her silver hair braided with dark feathers. I am Lyra, hunt captain of the Silverwood. State your purpose in our lands, Lowlander. Lowlander. The title is a deliberate insult, but I swallow my anger. I am here as a supplicant. I am Alpha King Caitlin. I have come to speak with your Alpha. I seek an alliance against a common enemy. Lyra's eyes narrow, her gaze sharp and assessing. She studies me for a long moment before giving a curt nod. Our Alpha will see you, but you will come alone and unarmed. Your guards will remain here. My royal guard bristles, their hands moving to their swords. I raise a hand to stop them. I will go, I say. I dismount, handing my sword belt to Gareth. Pride is a luxury I can no longer afford. They lead me through the valley into a village that seems to have grown organically from the forest itself. Houses are built into the boughs of great trees, connected by rope bridges. A gentle light emanates from glowing moon petal flowers planted along the paths. The air is peaceful, but it is the peace of a coiled predator, not a sleeping sheep. And through it all, her scent grows stronger, a magnetic pull on my very soul. My heart hammers against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat of hope and terror. They bring me to a large, open-air platform that serves as a council chamber. An alpha sits on a carved wooden throne, flanked by advisors. He is strong, I can scent that much. His power a steady and confident presence. This must be the Alpha Lysander. But my eyes are not on him. My gaze is drawn to the figure standing at his right hand. She stands with her back to me, looking out over the valley. She wears the leather armor of a warrior, and a cascade of dark hair, the color of a moonless midnight, falls down her back. The scent, her scent is pouring off her in waves, so powerful it makes me dizzy. It is her. It is Ilara. My wolf howls in my head, a sound of pure, unrestrained ecstasy. Mate, she is alive. She is here. Then she turns, and my world stops. This is not the frightened, grimy servant girl I cast away. The woman before me is a queen in her own right. Her face, once thin with hunger, is now sculpted and strong, her features sharpened into a fierce beauty. Her eyes, the color of the deep forest, are not wide with fear, but narrowed with authority. She is taller, stronger, radiating a power so potent it is a physical force. And on her hip, visible through a deliberate cut in her leather armor, the silver moon mark glows with a soft, ethereal light. She does not hide it. She displays it. A badge of honor. Our eyes lock, and the 3 years of pain and regret and longing crash over me in a single, devastating wave. The broken bond between us shrieks back to life, a phantom limb suddenly reattached, flooding my system with 1,000 sensations at once. Her shock, her anger, her pain, and beneath it all, a flicker of the same helpless recognition that is coursing through me. Her lips, fuller than I remember, press into a thin, hard line. The name she is called here is Celine, but the woman I see is the ghost that has haunted my every waking moment. Ilara. Alpha King Kalen, she says, and her voice is the thing that finally breaks me. It is no longer the timid whisper of a servant. It is the voice of a leader, a warrior. It is low, controlled, and colder than the winter frost that is part of my own scent. There is no recognition in it, no hint of our shared past. She speaks to me as if I am a stranger, a foreign dignitary to be assessed. You have come a long way to beg for help. The power dynamic in that single moment is inverted so completely it leaves me breathless. I, the king, stand before her as a supplicant. She, the rejected Omega, stands before me as a figure of immense power and authority. My wolf, my own beast, is whimpering in my head, urging me to go to her, to fall to my knees, to do anything to bridge the chasm of my own making that separates us. I open my mouth to speak, to say her name, to apologize, to explain. But the words die in my throat. What can I say? How can I possibly explain away an act of such profound cruelty? The shame is a physical weight bowing my shoulders. Lysander, the Silverwood Alpha, rises from his throne. King Kalen, he says, his voice a calm and steady rumble. My huntress is correct. You are here to beg, so beg. His possessive tone, the way he calls her, my huntress, sends a feral spike of jealousy through me so sharp and violent it almost brings me to my knees. My wolf roars in my head. Ours. She is ours, not his. I ignore him. I ignore the smug look on Lysander's face. My entire world has narrowed to the woman standing before me. I take a step forward, my hands open at my sides in a gesture of peace. Ilara, I breathe, the name a prayer and a curse on my lips. Her face remains a mask of cold indifference, but I see a flicker in her eyes, a tiny crack in the ice. I saw her. I remembered her name. That is not my name, she says, her voice unwavering. I am Selene, High Huntress of this pack. You will address me as such. Each word is a precisely aimed dart, and each one finds its mark. She is erasing our past. She is denying the bond that still thrums between us with an almost unbearable intensity. She is showing me that I have no power here. I am the one who is nothing. The Mooncaller Pack will consider an alliance, Lysander announces, stepping forward to stand beside her. A subtle gesture of ownership that makes my blood boil. But our aid comes with a price. Selene will command the joint forces. Her word will be law. You will cede your authority to her in all matters regarding the war against the Draken. Do you accept these terms, Alpha King? My council would have me executed for treason. To cede the authority of the Alpha King to an outsider, a female from a renegade pack, it is unthinkable. But as I look at her, at the strength in her spine and the power in her eyes, I know it is the only way. And a desperate, selfish part of me sees it for what it is. A chance. A chance to be near her. A chance to prove that the man who stands before her now is not the arrogant fool who threw her away. I accept, I say, my voice clear and loud for all to hear. The assembled Mooncallers murmur in surprise. They did not expect this. They expected the proud Alpha King to refuse. Ilara, Selene, does not look surprised. She looks disappointed, as if she was hoping I would refuse, so she would have a reason to send me away forever. A cruel smile touches her lips. Very well, King Kalin. The first strategy meeting is at dawn. Do not be late. She turns her back on me then, a dismissal more profound and cutting than any formal banishment. She walks to Lysander's side, and they speak in low tones, leaving me to stand alone in the center of the platform, the rejected king on a stage of his own making. The chasm between us feels wider than ever. The days that follow are a study in exquisite torture. By the terms of the alliance, we are forced into constant proximity. We spend hours hunched over maps, our shoulders sometimes brushing as we point to strategic positions. The brief contact is like a lightning strike, a jolt of pure energy that leaves my skin tingling and my wolf howling for more. She always flinches away, her expression hardening, as if my touch is a physical burn. She is a brilliant strategist. She understands the Draken in a way my generals never could. She thinks like a hunter, not a soldier. She anticipates their movements, exploits their weaknesses. She commands my warriors with a cool, detached authority they are not used to. But her competence quickly earns their grudging respect. They see what I see, a true leader. I watch her, and I ache. I watch her train with her huntresses, a deadly dance of silver blades and lunar light. I watch her laugh with Lysander, a sound that is like 1,000 tiny needles in my heart. I see the way he looks at her with open adoration and respect. He is the man I should have been. I try to speak with her, to find a moment alone to bridge the gap. She is an expert at avoiding me. If I approach, she is suddenly needed by one of her warriors. If we are in the same room, Lysander materializes at her side, a silent, smiling barrier. She has built a fortress around her heart, and I am the enemy it was designed to keep out. The rejection is a constant bitter taste in my mouth. This is my punishment, I know. To see the magnificent woman she has become and know that I am the reason we are not together. To feel the bond, a living thing, crying out for completion while she pretends it does not exist. The suffering is immense, but I welcome it. I deserve this. I deserve every second of this agony. One evening, I find her alone by a small moonlit pool at the edge of the village. She is cleansing her blades, her movements fluid and mesmerizing. The moonlight catches in her dark hair, turning it to silver. For a moment, she is not the high huntress, not the commander of armies. She is just a woman, and the look on her face is one of profound weariness. This is my chance. Celine, I say softly, not moving closer, afraid to startle her. Her entire body tenses. She does not turn. What do you want, Kaylin? Her voice is flat, devoid of emotion. I want to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Our business is the war. Nothing more. That is not true, I say, taking a hesitant step forward. Alara, please. She whirls on me, her eyes blazing with a fury I have not seen before. Do not call me that name. That girl is dead. You killed her. You and your pride and your cruelty. You left her to die in the rain. I know, I whisper, my own voice thick with unshed tears. And it is a crime for which I will never be able to atone. But I have to try. I take another step, closing the distance between us. The scent of her is overwhelming, a heady mix of jasmine and rage. I was a fool, a proud, arrogant, blind fool. I was a boy playing at being a king, terrified of what my court would think. They told me a king's mate must be a show of his strength, a pure-blooded alpha from a powerful line. I saw you in your servant's rags, and I was afraid. I was weak. You were cruel. She spits, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. You humiliated me. You broke me in front of the entire world. Yes, I agree. The word tearing from my throat. This is it. The confession. The grovel. Yes, I did. There is no excuse for what I did. No justification. It was the single greatest mistake of my life. I didn't just reject you. I rejected the best part of myself. I broke my own soul that day, and I have been living in the wreckage ever since. I dropped to my knees before her in the damp earth. The position of submission is not a tactic. It is an instinct. It is the only place I belong. I bare my throat, the ultimate sign of surrender for a wolf. My wolf has tormented me every single day for 3 years. He has never forgiven me. I don't expect you to. I am not asking for your forgiveness. I am not asking you to choose me. I am only asking you to believe this. The man who rejected you is not the man who kneels before you now. He died a long time ago, consumed by regret. Tears are streaming down my face now, hot and shameful, but I do not wipe them away. She needs to see this. She needs to see me broken. I will fight this war under your command. I will follow you into the heart of the blighted lands. And when it is over, if you still want me gone, I will leave and never return. You will have your freedom. That is my vow. You will be free of me. She stands over me, her chest rising and falling rapidly. I can feel the war inside her. The woman wants to believe me, but the warrior, the survivor, is screaming at her not to trust me. The silence stretches on, filled only by the chirping of crickets and the frantic beating of my own heart. I wait for her verdict, ready for any punishment. A knife in the heart would be kinder than the cold indifference she has shown me so far. A single tear traces a path through the grime on her cheek. She does not wipe it away. Get up, she says, her voice rough with emotion. Get up, you idiot! A king does not kneel. This king does, I reply, my eyes never leaving hers. For his queen. Before she can respond, a voice cuts through the night. Celine, is everything all right? It is Lysander. He emerges from the trees, his eyes immediately finding me on my knees before her. A dark, possessive look crosses his face. He moves to her side, placing a protective hand on her arm. Is this lowlander bothering you? Selene pulls her arm away from his grasp. The moment is broken. The fragile connection we had is severed. Her mask of cold authority slams back into place. No, she says, her voice once again cool and distant. The king was just expressing his commitment to our alliance. The meeting is over. She turns and walks away without a backward glance, leaving me on my knees in the dirt with Lysander glaring down at me, his expression one of pure hatred. Later that night, I see Lysander and Selene arguing near the council platform. I am too far away to hear their words, but their body language speaks volumes. He is agitated, gesturing wildly. She is rigid, her arms crossed over her chest. I see him reach for her, and she pulls away sharply. Finally, he throws his hands up in frustration and stalks away. A few minutes later, there is a soft knock on the door of the guest hut I have been given. It is Lysander. "Can we talk?" he asks, his voice tight. I step aside and he enters. He paces the small space for a moment, the picture of a caged wolf. "I saw what happened by the pool," he says finally, not looking at me. "It was a private conversation," I say, my hackles rising. Nothing is private when it concerns the safety of my pack and the heart of my Luna. He growls. "She is not your Luna," I retort, my own wolf rising to the challenge. "She is my mate." He stops pacing and turns to face me, his eyes glowing. "A mate you rejected. A mate you humiliated and cast out. You have no claim on her." "And you do?" I shoot back. "You think you can compete with a fated bond, even a broken one? You think your kindness can erase what the goddess has ordained?" He flinches, and I know I have hit a nerve. "I can offer her a life without pain," he says, his voice softer now, laced with desperation. "I can give her peace, a home, a family. What can you offer her, Kaelin? More pain? More memories of her darkest day?" "I can offer her the other half of her soul," I say quietly. "I can offer her completion. I can make her whole in a way you never can." We stare at each other for a long moment, two alphas fighting over the same prize. But the fight leaves him. His shoulders slump in defeat. "I watched her tonight," he says, his voice hollow. "After you groveled. I have offered her my heart, my pack, my world. She has never once looked at me the way she looked at you tonight. With so much hatred, yes, but with so much feeling. She is indifferent to me. But you, she feels." He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture of profound exhaustion. "I will not be her second choice. I will not be the safe harbor she settles for because the man she truly wants is a fool who broke her heart. She deserves better than that." He looks me straight in the eye, and what I see there is not hatred, but a plea. "Do not break her again, Kaelin. If you do, I swear to the goddess, I will hunt you down and tear the throat from your body, king or no king." He turns and leaves, the door closing softly behind him. He has just surrendered. He has recognized that he cannot win this fight, and in an act of supreme dignity, he has stepped aside. He has given me the opening I so desperately needed. But his final words echo in my mind. "Do not break her again." The weight of that command is heavier than any crown. The final assault on the Draken stronghold is planned for the next night during the full moon, when Selene's power will be at its peak. The mood in the camp is tense. We all know this is the final battle. We either destroy the source of the Draken, or we are all consumed. Just before we are to set out, Selene finds me sharpening my blade. She approaches hesitantly, her usual confidence replaced by a visible uncertainty. Lysander is leaving, she says, her voice quiet. He is taking a contingent of warriors to reinforce the western border. He said, he was leaving the command of the pack to me. He is a good man, I say, not looking up from my whetstone. He is, she agrees. He told me he could not compete with a ghost, with a bond. Was he talking about you? I finally look up at her. Her eyes are wide, vulnerable, the way they were in the Great Hall 3 years ago. The huntress is gone. This is Alara. Yes, I say. Our bond is not a ghost, Alara. It is real. It is here. It is between us right now. I hate you, she whispers, a tear tracing a path down her cheek. I know, I whisper back. Hate me. But do not deny this. Do not deny us. Before either of us can say more, the warning horn sounds. The attack has begun. The Draken are not waiting for us to come to them. A swirling mist of black, corrosive energy is rolling down the hills toward our camp. To arms! Selene bellows, her voice once again the commander's. The moment of vulnerability is gone, locked away. She is the High Huntress again. The battle is chaos. The Draken are a terrifying, formless horde. They have no single shape, just swirling masses of shadow with glowing red eyes and claws that can shred steel. Our warriors fight bravely, the Mooncallers with their glowing, venom-laced blades, my own wolves with their brute strength. But we are outnumbered. Selene is a whirlwind of silver light in the center of the battle. She moves with a grace that is breathtaking. Her twin blades a blur, her lunar magic forming protective shields around faltering warriors. She is the heart of our defense, the beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. And that makes her the primary target. I see it before anyone else. A larger shadow, darker and more solid than the others, detaches itself from the main horde. This is the master, the source of their power, and it is moving directly toward Selene. She is occupied, her back to it, defending a group of wounded fighters. Selene! I roar, fighting my way through the mass of bodies toward her. Behind you! She turns, but it is too late. The Draken Master raises a clawed appendage, a spear of pure shadow forming in its grip. Time seems to slow down. I will not reach her. There is no time. My wolf makes the decision for me. Protect, claim, ours. There is no thought, only instinct. I launch myself forward, covering the last few feet in a desperate leap. I throw myself in front of her, my body shielding hers, just as the shadow spear is unleashed. The pain is unlike anything I have ever known. It is not a clean cut. It is a searing, corrosive agony that feels like my very soul is being dissolved. I gasp, a wet, choking sound, and look down. The black spear is embedded in my chest, right over my heart. Darkness spreads from the wound, black veins crawling across my skin, sapping my strength, my life. I stumble backward into her arms. My legs give out, and we fall to the ground together. Kaelin! She screams, her voice a raw sound of pure terror. The commander is gone. The huntress is gone. Only Alara remains, her eyes wide with horror. Idiot, I cough, a trickle of black blood running from the corner of my mouth. Always getting yourself into trouble. No, 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 she sobs, her hands pressing against the wound, trying to stop the unstoppable spread of darkness. Her touch is warm. It is the last warmth I will ever feel. Don't you dare leave me. Not again. I told you, I gasp, my vision starting to blur at the edges. The man who rejected you is dead. I reach up a trembling hand and touch her cheek. This was my choice, to protect you, my only choice. The bond between us is screaming, a siren of her agony, and my life fading away. Her tears fall onto my face, hotter than any fire. I can't lose you, she whispers, her voice breaking. I hate you, but I can't lose you. I love you, Alara, I say. The words a final peaceful truth. I have always loved you. My eyes slip closed. The darkness is calling. It is a cold, peaceful abyss. I have paid my debt. She is safe. It is enough. His life is draining out of him, a torrent of energy flooding the broken bond between us. I feel his heart stutter, his breath catch. The cold of the Draken's magic is consuming him, but all I can feel is the terrifying emptiness where his life force used to be. No, the word is a roar in my soul. My wolf, my moon-given power, the core of my very being, rises up in defiance. He does not get to die. He does not get to make this noble sacrifice and leave me alone again. I will not allow it. You are not leaving me, I snarl, cradling his head in my lap. The battle rages around us, but it is a distant, meaningless noise. My entire universe has collapsed to this single point. This man, this fool, my mate. I place my hands over the hideous wound in his chest. The shadow magic recoils from my touch, hissing like water on a hot stone. I close my eyes and reach deep inside myself, past the anger, past the pain, past the 3 years of bitterness. I reach for the core of my power, the pure, undiluted light of the moon that lives within me. Heal, my wolf commands. Claim, mine. I make a choice. In this moment, with his life hanging by a thread, I choose him. I choose this messy, painful, all-consuming love. I choose us. With a cry that is part sob, part war cry, I pour my power into him. It is not just the gentle healing I have used before. This is everything. I am pouring my life force, my very essence, into the wound, pushing back the darkness with the searing light of the full moon. And I accept the bond. I open the floodgates of my soul, tearing down the walls I so carefully constructed. I reach across the bridge of our connection, and I take hold of his fading spirit. Stay, I command. Stay with me. The moment I do, something explosive happens. The bond, broken for so long, snaps into place not as a fragile thread, but as a conduit of immense power. His raw, primal alpha strength floods into me, and my lunar magic surges into him. Our essences merge, intertwine, becoming something new, something more. The pain in my chest, the hollow ache I have carried for 3 years, vanishes, replaced by a feeling of wholeness so profound it brings me to tears. I am no longer just Celine. He is no longer just Kalen. We are one. The light that erupts from us is blinding. A column of pure silver energy shot through with threads of gold blasts upward into the night sky, vaporizing the Draken Master and scattering the lesser shadows like smoke in the wind. The remaining creatures shriek and dissolve, their power source utterly destroyed. When the light fades, the battlefield is silent. Kalen's eyes flutter open. They are no longer just gold. They are shot through with silver, mirroring my own. The wound in his chest is gone, leaving behind only smooth, unblemished skin marked by a new swirl of silver, a pattern that perfectly mirrors my own moon mark. He looks at me, and the love in his eyes is so potent, so absolute, it takes my breath away. Alara, he breathes, his voice whole and strong. Kalen, I whisper back, my fingers tracing the new mark on his chest. I lean down and press my lips to his, a kiss that is not about passion, but about recognition. It is a kiss of homecoming. It is the sealing of a promise. In the aftermath, everything is different. We won the battle, but more than that, we forged a new future. Kalen's warriors and my hunters no longer see each other as rivals, but as pack. They saw our combined power. They saw their king kneel and their huntress heal. They saw a bond completed. Kalen does not try to reclaim his authority. Instead, in front of both packs, he kneels again. This time, it is not a grovel. It is a proposal. Ilara of the Silver Moon, he proclaims, his voice ringing with a new, balanced power. You are the other half of my soul, the strength of my wolf and the light of my life. I am not whole without you. Rule with me, not as my Luna, not as my consort, but as my equal, as my alpha queen. My heart, so long a fortress of ice, melts completely. I look at this man, this king who learned humility, this warrior who would die for me, this mate who is the other half of my own being. My wolf purrs in contentment. Ours. Finally. Yes, I say, my voice clear and strong. I will. Months later, we stand on the balcony of the great palace, the same palace from which I was once cast out. It has been remade just as we have. The grim tapestries have been replaced with emblems that show both the wolf and the moon. The court is no longer a place of rigid hierarchy, but a council of equals, drawn from all 7 packs and the Silverwood. Kalen's hand finds mine, our fingers lacing together. The twin marks on our bodies seem to glow with a soft warmth in the evening light. His touch is no longer a source of pain or fear. It is my anchor. It is my home. Are you happy? He asks quietly, his silver gold eyes searching mine. I lean my head against his shoulder, breathing in his scent of winter frost and pine, now forever mingled with my own. The scent is perfect. It is whole. I say, and it is the simplest, most profound truth I have ever spoken. The journey was difficult. I am sorry for the scars, he murmurs, his thumb stroking the back of my hand. Do not be, I reply, turning to face him. I place my hand over his heart, where the wound used to be, where our marks now reside. The scars are a reminder. They remind us of the cost of pride. They remind us of the strength of forgiveness. They are what make us who we are. I smile, a real genuine smile that reaches my eyes, earned, scarred, but whole. He leans down and kisses me, a soft, reverent kiss filled with the promise of 1,000 tomorrows. The bond between us hums, a quiet song of perfect harmony. We are not the boy king and the broken servant. We are not the vengeful huntress and the groveling alpha. We are Kalen and Ilara, king and queen, wolf and moon, mates, and our reign is just beginning.